Call me Clog the way I do the shit. What's going on, Niz? I was about to run through the Wrongwarps, so good timing. Yeah. There we go. So for the Wrongwarps, there's a couple things to consider. So one of the ones that you're probably gonna want to start doing, this should be for both routes. That's fine. I'm gonna clip them anyway. Is you're gonna come out of Shadow Glen here, and you're just not gonna get low grav. I'm gonna go immediately to the right. You're gonna walk up to Pogglefox, and you're just gonna give him a purple jumpy, and keep walking. And then right after this rock on the left, so there's that waterfall right there. We're gonna drop down into this lower water plane, and that's gonna warp us to underneath the bridge. If we did on that higher water plane, we go over by Lily Pad again. So when we're here, what we want to do is land almost like on the seam of where this wall here below Tor meets the water. And there's 2 frames that you can drown on. So the first frame for drowning is the one that makes the noise, like starts the audio cues and Tor like actually makes his sound. And the second frame is the one that starts the timers going. And normally, if I were to just do that right now and just let it happen, I'm gonna game over because there's 2 timers. So there's a timer when you void. So like if I were to just jump into the water, starting now, until I respawn here, that's the void timer. There's also the game over timer, which as soon as Tor hits the ground, if I did that right, the game over timer starts ticking. But the game over timer is shorter than the void timer, because the void timer takes most of this sound cue. So right before those last few notes is when it starts kicking in. But you can see, like, significantly before it can start the warp, the camera starts panning for the game over, like, text to show up. So what Neil found instead is that we can pause during that to delay the game over timer from starting, or at least pause it where it's at, but we can continue to let the void timer go. So I'm going to do it with select, which is not how I normally do it, but I'll go over that in a second. I'm going to do it with select so you can see, but I'm going to go jump into that same place, and then I'm going to hit select so you can see what's happening, and I'm going to buffer frames. I'll get the 1 frame where Tor makes his noise and he drowns, and then I'll go 1 more frame, and I'm just going to sit there, and you'll see him warp back to his original position. So, drown started, 1 more, and I'm going to wait here, and the camera flicked back. Now, this flick back is right here where we started. That's what happens if you sit there and let the drown go for too long. Which, all in all, isn't that bad. The thing you need to get a feel for is how long you have to pause. So, if you go too quick, then it'll end up being like, you'll still get the game over like that. There's a certain scenario where if you're just barely too quick, you'll get a revive, like, animation at the place you're supposed to warp to. Which, I can't do it on command, but regardless. So you kind of have to play with the timing a little bit. It's not super long of a pause, and it's not super tight. Like, you can wait for pretty long before it warps you back to the original position. Like, it's not that bad. The way that I have taken to doing this is because PS4 controller. So I'm doing where I will jump off the ledge. So this is my left stick, and this is X. I'll jump off the ledge, I'm holding R1. I don't think you need to, but I just choose to. And instead of using select with my left index, I'll use my right thumb on L on my left stick, just like normal. And then I will move my thumb, my right thumb, where is it? Over to triangle, and the start button is here. So I'm doing this kind of thing, or like almost sideways like that. And so what I'll do is I'll hit start, and then I'll rock my finger back to triangle, like that. It's a little awkward from that angle, but it's fairly easy to still get the one frame. And because you're not inputting anything with this hand, you can literally just, like, hold R1 if you choose to, and then just freehand everything else, and just ba-ba, 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 ba-ba. Like, full-on slide your thumb. That's what I do a lot of the time. So you lose the visual with this, but if you have your audio, that's all you need to know when you get the drown frame, and then when the second one comes. The problem becomes if you were to pause on the exact frame the exact second frame that you drown, then you have to delay that pause, otherwise you'll just get the game over. So a good habit is to pause for just barely enough time on the first one you do, unless you've buffered into it. So if I pause early here, like this, I know I'm early, so I'm gonna go. I was gonna go for a while, but I didn't realize how close I was. So I knew I was early, so I buffered, heard the drown, and did one instantaneously after, because I know that frame isn't gonna do anything for me. Once you're on the second one, that's when you have to kind of pay attention. So ideally, it would look like that. So that was a one frame. I almost didn't wait long enough. Oh yeah, I'm gonna clip it, don't worry. In short, my controller is mostly like, this, and then I go to this. So, it's not too terrible. The hardest part is definitely getting used to that timing, so that was too fast. I landed up there. I didn't pause early enough. There you go. That one is not that hard. The second one we do, and this is assuming you're doing Yes Cloak, but if not, you can ignore this one. For Yes Cloak, the way we do it in Act 1 is slightly different than how we do it in Act 2, where we normally walk over to planes, save there, and then we'll come here. For No Cloak, this doesn't matter, but there's this splotch on the ground of lighter grass. It's like this section right here. And if I put this bar along the bottom of it, like at the bottom of the feet of that lighter splotch, you'll see there's a section right in the middle of that bar, right here, that's darker. And at the tip of like where that dark piece of collision peaks, that's where I'm sitting. So, let's put it down. So quite literally, I will stand right on top of that peak, or just about here. And this one is a little harder. We don't do this the same way in Act 2, and I'll go over that as well. But for Act 1, I hold my controller with L2. I hover my left index right here above select. I have my thumb over the left stick. I have R1 being held down, and I'm ready to press X. And so the way you have to do this one is a little harder, because what we're doing is, because this ledge is not solid, so like if I walk into the side of the ledge, I can just walk straight through it. Just like that. So what we're trying to do is that. What we're trying to do is hit the water with momentum, so that way we can slide out of it, if that makes sense. This one is particularly hard because you're coming at it from the side, You'll have miracle speed normally here for Yes Cloak. So you'll walk into it, and then you'll have your positioning. You'll drop, and then while you're dropping, you're gonna start going back into the wall. Hit jump before you hit the water, and then pause. And from this point on, we're gonna keep holding L2 R1 into the side and buffer frames. So 1, 2, and I didn't go far enough. So I did have a thought. I did just wonder. If I were to come at this with low gravity, how would this work? There. So there's not really a great way to do this one aside from that side hop. This one is by far the hardest. And I would recommend doing this one with low or with high gravity, not low gravity, because it'll completely change how you do it. I prefer high gravity. You have to get a feel for it. The hardest part is getting the pause. If you do get the pause, there's a good chance you were early on everything else, so it doesn't matter. This is just a pain in the ass of a trick. So there, I didn't wait quite long enough. It was close. That was good. There, I'm not getting enough distance. There we go. That one will warp you to the same place. And that's great. It works very well. It's very, very hard. That one, by far, is the hardest. The third one we'll do is in Dragon Ridge. And we'll do this when we're going to Kog'Maw, and we're also going to implement this into the all bosses route now. So, assuming you came this direction from Meridel, so here's Meridel, you come in this way. Instead of doing the spin clip here, which you can do, but it's probably slower with the new method that Neil mentioned, you're going to run past Motaro, and you're going to get low gravity on this. Once you have low gravity on that, you're going to keep running until you see the bridge, Kog'Maw Bridge. And the way that I position myself is that there is this darker rock on the ground here, and there's this point of it where it kind of gets cut off by this ledge, but it's pointing almost towards that platform that the bridge connects to. And if you look, and here, I'll see if I can get closer to it. If you look right to the left of Tor, right here, there's this corner of this platform. That corner is what I'm aiming at. So I'm positioning myself roughly about at this corner of this darker stone that I'm standing on, and aiming at that corner on that platform. And so the strat that I've been doing that I feel is probably the best is you'll have speed and you'll have low gravity. And so you're going to run straight off with L2 and R1, and you're going to do 3 spins. You can do the first spin early, but you have to fall an amount of distance before you can do the second spin, otherwise you'll hit the text box. I'll show you what I mean. So if I do it really close together, or just won't do it anyway, I'm early on my spin. It's just deciding not to do it. You have to fall a certain amount, otherwise you're going to hit that text box. Sometimes it happens more often during runs for some reason, which is just super annoying because he's there, so it should be happening. But it doesn't matter. So what I'll do is I'll run with L2 R1. I'll do those 3 spins. After that 3rd spin, I'm going to start buffering my pause screen. I might wait a little bit based on how high I am from the ground, but the idea is that you keep that speed that you have moving forward through the air, and you're buffering so when you hit the water, you'll start sliding forward. So it should look something like this. So I'm partway in the water now, but I'm not drowned yet. So I'm going to keep buffering. Just drown this one. Okay, so I drowned, do one more, and then on pause. And you'll see there, Tor clipped up onto that platform, and then came over. If I do this at normal speed that I do the other 2 clips on, the other 2 Wrongwarps on, that one worked, so I was a little far away. I didn't pause, but like that. So I was a little fast, but still. You'll get a game over here. And that is for the reason that the part of Draken Ridge that has its respected music and this platform I'm sitting on now, you go over a loading zone. If you listen, the audio is a little different. It sucks the music isn't playing. But this platform and going just off the edge of it over top of the water is a transition zone. So when you're going over that transition zone, the game lags enough that if you don't pause for longer, you are going to drown. And game over. So this is a strat I used to do. So you used to have to pause longer, and that almost wasn't long enough, and then you'll warp here. There's also the original strat of how to do it, which you risk hitting that text box. Again, sometimes I don't know why you hit it, why you don't, because I tried to hit it earlier and I couldn't. Where you would L2 off backwards and then jump forward. I don't know why I hit that there, but yeah. So there's a number of strats to do it. Doing the 3 spins and just going forward and buffering is probably the easiest. You can kind of gauge how long you're waiting, or how your timing is for the buffer, based on how far Tor is laying down during it. So I'll see if I can get something good here. Drawn here, drawn there, do one more. So you see how Tor like hit the ground, but almost immediately I got the warp. If I do that a little faster, not quite what I meant. Once he lays his head down and stops moving, that's when the game over pan starts. The closer you are to that, the, I guess, technically more efficient your push, your pausing was. If you wait too long, you'll land there. If you wait just long enough, but not quite too long, let's see if I can do it. I didn't wait quite long enough. You can get it to where Tor will just barely start laying down, and then he'll warp here. It's hard to do reliably, but nonetheless, those are the Wrongwarps. And with Act 3, with the Act 3 Wrongwarp, we're only going to be doing it when we're in Hundo in like the one place we do it, and in any percent Yes Cloak. And the reason we can only do it with Yes Cloak has to do with the fact that we don't have the cloak. And that seems like a stupid point. I'll explain. So we have to get back into the castle. And the only way we can really do that is by using that loading zone that we assume is supposed to be like an Act 3 loading zone that got left over that was never used. So what we're doing is we're going to use the same Wrongwarp, which is going to put us at Draken Ridge again. And we're going to ledge fly through the wall at Dragon Ridge to get into the out of bounds area. And that's right where we would normally upwarp when we're doing the out of bounds. Thanks for good luck, Neil. It's right where we would normally upwarp doing the out of bounds to load in like the castle section for us to warp into the courtyard. And we can just go straight there. So that one will be a little bit easier. We don't have to pause for this one for the sole reason that we have two characters. If you do a Wrongwarp, any Wrongwarp, and you are in Act 3 or 4, so you have both characters, I think the only exception might be like maybe if you're in like Where Luke Burrows and you don't have Roberta at the time or something, which I don't even know if there is a Wrongwarp possible there, then it wouldn't work probably, but I'm not 100% sure. But if you get the game over for the Wrongwarp, or game over, it will just change characters at the new position. So I'm just going to walk off and do the same inputs minus the selecting. Like that. And it's going to swap my character and turn me to Roberta. If you do it super perfectly, either if you do pauses to delay like the death timer or whatever, or if you get like genuinely the frame perfect upwarp onto the platform, it will keep you as the character you tried to do the Wrongwarp as, which in this situation isn't ideal because we want to be Roberta anyway for taking the sister shields away. But it's not the biggest deal, you can just swap back anyway. This just cuts out one other thing we have to do. From here, normally this invis wall would be here, but since I loaded a state, yeah, you need to do the pause if your other character is dead. For any percent Yes Cloak, that shouldn't be the case, but if it is the case, we'll have problems anyway. I think we have bigger problems if that's the case. There would be this normal invis wall here, so we do the clip through it like normal. The same one we do in Act 1. We're going to come up onto this platform, and then we're going to do a vault up onto this one. Notice that I didn't jump on the ledge and grab it like that. I want to be set back a little bit from the wall. So you jump into it. I'm going to turn around. I'm going to take another like 3 steps forward or something. Something super small. I'm going to face diagonally at the wall. And I'm just going to do a ledge fly. And it's going to put me out of bounds. I'm going to be right here. From here, you can just go off to this left side, jump over this invisible wall, and this spire that the aim reticle is aiming at, that's the one we're aiming at normally to load in the castle corridor. So we're going to run just to the left of it is what I do until I line up where I like it to be. Right about here or so. And we're going to run and do the exact same thing we do to get inbounds to the corridor. Like that. I was looking away, so I missed the anti-darkness, but we're back in the corridor. And that is all that's different. Now, mind you, if you're doing no cloak, which I don't know which one you're planning on doing, but if you're doing no cloak, none of those will apply to you at all. Actually, that's not true. The one before marital entry will. It's not. That one is probably the easiest one to put into the route. It's also super, super easy. What's going on, Shy? Thanks for the raid. And yes, Poggle Fox is usable in no, which means we can get the instant Narfus. And since we're not going to Cogum, we never have to use the Plains Warp in Act 1, and we never do the Cogum Warp in Act 2. Or Act 1 as well. And then, since we don't have the Cloak, we have no way to get out of bounds in Act 3 if we did the wrong Warp over Dragon Bridge. And there's no other way for us to realistically get back in to the castle, since we haven't unlocked the front door, and there's no, that I know of at least this time, way for us to get out of bounds without the Cloak there. The only other thing is pertaining to... let me do this. I didn't know there was a slope clip, but I believe it. The only other thing is you have two options as far as getting the leaf moat goes. Two realistic options. Number one is you're here, you do the wrong warp, I'm too far forward, wrong warp, and you turn around and you grab the leaf moat that's here, which is slightly slower technically, and that's fine. The other option is that while we're in... I should have gone the other way. While we're in Shadowglen... Let me get back up here. On the top side of Shadowglen, there is a leaf moat. You can kind of see it from here. It's that leaf moat right there. And it just so happenly works that we go right past it to get to the Arbendos. So what we do instead is we come inbounds about here. We run here, and there's this little, like, point right where Tor's standing. There's this point in the collision here that normally I like to run off of. I'm going to go about one Tor to the left of it, and I'm going to drop off of this. As soon as I step off this platform, I'm going to just let go of my movement. And before I hit the ground, I'm going to let go of L2. The reason I'm letting go of L2 is that free falling will cause you to roll, and rolling will cancel the pickup animation of the leaf moat here. If I didn't let go of L2, then I would get the pickup animation, which just wastes more of our time. So that'll look more or less something like that, and you'll roll into it. And then I don't have my speed potion anymore, but you could normally just hold L2 and then keep going off this here, and then do this. Everything else is the same. So I'll pop this potion just to do that. Pop the potion just to be faster. We'll run out. And then, like we said before, we're gonna come over to the mouth of Shadowglen. We're going to feed Pogglefox over here. We're going to come around this rock, that is the biggest part, and drown in this section of water. After this waterfall. Because again, the one up there by Pogglefox will put you back a little bit. And then we did the wrong warp. If you grab the leaf moat, you can turn to the left. Right back this way, and go right.